Today marks 1 week since a student shot 2 administrators at Denver's East High School. One of the victims, Eric Sinclair, is still in the hospital recovering. 9 News reporter Brianna Fernandez joins us live from outside of East High School this morning. And Brianna, parents and students gathered last night to discuss gun violence.
Exactly. It was a packed house. We know community leaders as well as students, even though they're on spring break, they attended the meeting, and parents as well. One of the students here from East High School, he actually stood up and spoke and said he just wants to come to school and feel safe. So we know that conversation was led by a panel of school and community leaders like Denver Police Chief Thomas and the people in charge of protecting our youth. Many of them agreed that mental health needs to be a priority within schools. And the big question that was discussed during that meeting is how can kids be safe at school and in the community to create a better path for them? The dean at East High School said he has lost way too many kids due to gun violence.
Another young man, Todd Brewer, graduated. I worked with this kid his senior year, 2020, pandemic. He graduated. He was just at the rec center up here. He was shot 6 times, you know?
They also discussed the impacts gun violence has to our community and ways that they can address it. And one of those ways is talking about the trauma and, of course, mental health, like we discussed. Jordan, Corey?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people have something to say about this.
Yeah, these conversations are really beneficial. I'm glad everyone's talking about it. Brianna, thank you.
Now, of course, we know this is not an easy time for East High students as well.
There's a lot of anxiety about going back to school, so one local spot is trying to help. The owner of Curbside Skate Park is offering free skate sessions for any East High School student. The owner says he already feels like skateboarding creates a big community, and he hopes that will help kids feel a little better.
We just want to be a spot where people can find something else to progress in, something to take their mind off of it, something where they can find community and even talk about it.
They've also got some extra rental boards students can use as well as extra protective equipment. Curbside is open every day at noon. East High kids just need to show their student ID to get a free session.
This morning, there is a memorial growing outside of the Covenant School in Nashville in honor of the 6 people who were killed there this week. You can see teddy bears, balloons, and hundreds of bouquets of flowers. People from the community have been stopping by to grieve together. And we are hearing more from police about the investigation. They say the shooter legally bought 7 guns over the last few years and hid them from family. The shooter brought 3 of them to the Christian elementary school where the shooter was once a student. Police say this was a carefully planned attack, and they also say that the shooter was being treated for some kind of emotional disorder. Nashville's police chief told NBC News they still don't know the shooter's motive, but they do believe that the shooter resented having to go to the Christian school. The chief says if police knew the shooter was suicidal or homicidal, they would have tried to take away the guns. Tennessee doesn't have red flag laws like Colorado does, which allows law enforcement to ask a judge to take guns from people who are a risk to themselves or to others.
Schools across the country are reviewing their own security plans after the shooting in Nashville. That includes private religious schools like the one where the shooting happened. Across the board, private schools naturally have challenges when it comes to security. They may not have the money to pay for extensive security teams. Some of their buildings may be older and not have modern day security upgrades. But school safety experts say we're at an advantage here in the Denver metro area because public and private schools work together to share resources and best practices.
Resources are always an issue. I mean, you don't have enough resources whether you're a big school district like Denver Public Schools or the smallest, Christian community. So what do? You leverage whatever available resources you have and ensure that there's proper training involved and awareness and implementation of a good quality program to ensure safety.
Deacon Ernie Martinez with the Archdiocese of Denver spent 40 years as a Denver police officer. He says schools will continue to learn from tragedies like what happened in Nashville. He says it's everyone's responsibility to be alert.
Some new gun bills are heading to the governor's desk pretty soon. Both the House and the Senate passed a package of 4 Democrat-sponsored bills. Now they just have to approve some amendments. One of the bills raises the age to buy all guns to 21 years old. The others expand the state's red flag laws, require a 3-day waiting period to buy a gun, and make it easier to sue gun manufacturers. A plan to ban the purchase of so-called assault weapons is not included in this package. Democrats left it out because they might not have the votes to pass it. The bill was scheduled for a committee hearing today, but that hearing is no longer on the calendar.
For months, Aurora's program to pair mental health clinicians with police had 0 full-time clinicians. Now the city says that has finally changed. Aurora has a new deal with UC Health to hire clinicians to support the city's crisis response team. The city started working with the hospital system in January after ending its deal with the Aurora Mental Health Center. UC Health is now providing 6 clinicians and 2 coordinators for the crisis response team. Another city program pairing mental health workers with paramedics. A city audit found a long list of problems with the crisis response team, including that 911 dispatchers didn't have protocols to figure out whether a call was about a mental health crisis.
Denver is considering expanding a similar program. STAR sends a mental health clinician and an EMT to certain 911 calls instead of police. City Council introduced an agreement with Denver Health and Hospital Authority for around $2.5 million through the end of the year. That plan involves adding 6 EMTs and 3 vans, and that would bring the STAR team up to 16 teams and 10 vans.
Less than a week to go until the election in Denver, and the next mayor will oversee what happens with the Park Hill Golf Course. Voters will decide whether the land will stay a golf course or whether a development group can use it for housing, businesses, and parks. The plan has gotten some pushback from the community. We've asked all 16 candidates running for mayor where they stand on this issue. 7 candidates say they will vote yes on the ballot measure to develop the Park Hill Golf Course property. Chris Hansen, Thomas Wolf, Andy Rougeau, Debbie Ortega, Mike Johnston, Al Gardner, and Kelly Brough. 9 mayoral candidates say they'll vote no. They oppose the current proposal for development there. Terrence Roberts, Leslie Herod, Trinidad Rodriguez, Lisa Calderon, Ian Tafoya, Aurelio Martinez, Renati Behrens, and Robert Tretta, as well as Jim Walsh.
And if you want to know where the candidates stand on a wide range of issues, you can check out our extensive candidate guide. You can learn about the candidates one by one or pick an issue that's important to you and read all the candidates' views on that issue in one place in our voter guide on 9news.com. And remember, you can vote in person or drop your ballot off until Tuesday.
And one thing you want to know about the weather, what's our weekend look like? It's going to be a nice one. Take a look at your Saturday, 63 degrees with mostly sunny skies, and even better on Sundays, we hit 68 degrees and the sunshine stays with us.